Wife called me so insecure, accused me of cheating. So I played recording and filed for divorce. Then I played it on Bluetooth for 40 guests, walked out, changed the locks, sent the audio to HR, sold the car in my name, and blocked her everywhere once the divorce was final. Welcome to AF Tales. Today's story is about a husband who got accused of cheating at his own anniversary party and stayed calm enough to play a recording that exposed the real affair. While you listen, ask yourself what you would do if someone tried to set you up in public. I'm 35 and I got played. Completely, thoroughly played. But here's the part that matters. I figured it out before she could finish the con. My wife and I had been together 10 years, married 7. She worked in marketing. I'm in software development. We both did well. Together we were pulling around $180,000 a year. We lived in a house that was paid off, a place I inherited from my grandfather 5 years ago. Life felt stable, safe, like we were past the hard parts. Then about 3 months back, she started acting different. Not distant exactly, just off. Her phone was always face down. Working late became her default status. Weekend team-building events started running past midnight, and her work friend, the guy she'd mentioned maybe twice in 2 years, suddenly became the main character in every story. Oh, he suggested this restaurant. He helped me with that presentation. He's so funny, you'd like him. I mentioned it once carefully, like you do when you don't want to start a fight. You talk about him a lot. She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Are you serious right now? He's a colleague. God, you're so insecure. That shut me up. And I hate admitting this, but that's how it works. You get one label thrown at you and suddenly you start managing your own feelings so you don't fit the label. Nobody wants to be the jealous husband, so I swallowed it. Big mistake. Over the next month, she ramped up. She started criticizing everything. My clothes were boring. My hobbies were childish. My friends were going nowhere in life. Little cuts, constantly, not big enough to point to and say, that's abuse, but steady enough to make you question yourself. This was the first red flag I should have taken seriously, not the late nights. The contempt. Then she moved into the guest room. You snore and I have an important presentation. I don't snore, never have, but I let it happen anyway. I kept telling myself she was stressed, that it was a phase, that we'd get through it. One night she left her iPad in the home office, just sitting there unlocked. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a charging cable. Then a message notification popped up from him. Miss you already. Tonight was amazing. My stomach dropped. I clicked it before I could stop myself. There were months of messages, photos I won't describe, plans, jokes about me, conversations about how clueless I was, how easy this was, and one message stood out more than the rest. When are you finally leaving him? Her reply was short. Soon. Need to set things up right. Can't leave without getting what I deserve. I sat there staring at the screen for a long time, just trying to understand what I was looking at. She wasn't having a crisis. She wasn't confused. She was running a plan. At this point, what would you have done? Would you confront her right away, or would you gather proof first? I didn't confront her. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything, didn't do the movie scene. I took screenshots, backed everything up to a cloud account she didn't know about. Then I put the iPad back exactly where I found it. For the next week, I watched her, really watched her. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. She was building a narrative. Picking fights over nothing. Telling her friends I was controlling. Posting passive-aggressive things on social media about knowing your worth. She wasn't just cheating. She was setting the stage so she could leave looking like the victim. That's the part people don't talk about enough. Betrayal hurts, but a setup changes how you trust your own reality. My brother does corporate law. Not divorce, but he knows people. I called him, explained the situation. He got me a consultation with a divorce attorney. The lawyer was blunt. She's planning something. The fact that she's still playing house while having an affair and building a case against you, that's calculated. Document everything. Don't tip your hand. So I did. I opened my own bank account, moved half of our shared savings into it, my legal right. I made sure all my important documents were somewhere safe. I got copies of the house deed, my grandfather's will, everything showing the house was mine. Then I waited. 2 weeks later, she announced we were throwing an anniversary party. 7 years, we need to celebrate, let's do it big. This from the woman who forgot our last 2 anniversaries, who was sleeping in another room, who spent the past month telling me I wasn't good enough, red flags everywhere. Sure, I said, sounds great. She lit up. She invited everyone, her family, my family, all our friends. Her entire work crew. She wanted at least 40 people. That's when I knew. This wasn't a party, it was a stage. She was going to blow up our marriage in front of an audience and paint me as the villain. Fine, 2 can play. I got his number from her phone while she was in the shower and called him. He answered on the 3rd ring. Hey, I said. This is my wife's husband. Dead silence. I know about you too, I said. I'm not calling to threaten you, I just want to understand what I'm dealing with before I file for divorce. Man to man. He stammered. Tried to hang up. I kept my voice calm. Look, she's planning something, I can feel it, I just want to know what I'm walking into. Something about that approach worked. Maybe guilt, maybe fear, maybe he just wasn't that bright. He agreed to meet. We met at a coffee shop. I recorded everything on my phone. One-party consent state, completely legal. He told me the whole story. It started 8 months ago at a conference out of state. They'd been flirting before that, but that's when it got physical. Since then, they'd been meeting up twice a week. Tuesday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. She told me you were emotionally abusive, he said, that you controlled her money and isolated her from friends. None of that was true. He shifted in his seat. I'm starting to see she's been intense lately, he said. Talking about the divorce like it's a chess game. She said she needed to make you look bad so the settlement would favor her. I asked, how? She wanted witnesses, he said. She said she was going to confront you publicly about cheating and you'd either admit it or get violent. Either way, she'd have proof you were unstable. That's the moment it stopped being just an affair and became something darker. This is what manipulation looks like when it levels up. Not just lying, but trying to engineer your reaction. I thanked him, left, and went home. I edited the recording down to the important parts and made sure it was ready to play through our Bluetooth speaker. The party came fast. She spent the whole day getting ready. Hair, makeup, new dress. She looked great, probably for his benefit. Guests started arriving in the evening, everyone mingling, drinking, laughing. My parents brought champagne. Her parents brought a gift. Friends brought cards. It looked like a normal anniversary party. He arrived late. They barely acknowledged each other, but I saw it. The look, the electricity. The silent confidence people have when they think they're getting away with something. After about an hour, she clinked her glass. Speech time. She smiled at the room. Thank you all for coming. 7 years is a real milestone and I wanted everyone here to celebrate. People smiled and raised glasses. I stood next to her like the loyal husband, then her whole energy shifted. But I can't keep pretending, she said, and her voice cracked like she'd practiced it. I can't keep living a lie. The room got quiet. You could feel people leaning in. She turned to me. I know you've been cheating. My mom gasped. Her dad's face went red. Everyone stared at me. I've seen the messages, she said. The late nights, the secret calls. I'm done pretending we're happy when you're out there with someone else. She started crying. Full performance. Her sister moved to her side. Her mom started crying too. This was it. Her big moment, public humiliation, witnesses. I looked at her and stayed calm. Really, I said. Don't you dare deny it, she snapped. She turned back to the room. Everyone here knows something was wrong the way he's been acting, distant, cold, checked out. I nodded slowly like I was considering it. Interesting, I said. Then I pulled out my phone and connected to the Bluetooth speaker sitting on the mantel. Because I've been completely faithful, I said. But since we're airing everything out in front of everyone, let's do it properly. I hit play. His voice filled the room, clear as day. Look, man, I'm sorry. It started 8 months ago at the conference. My wife went white. She actually stumbled backward. We've been seeing each other twice a week, he said. Tuesdays and Saturdays. She said you never noticed. You could feel the room shift. People stopped looking at me and started looking at her. Then the recording kept going. She's been planning this divorce for months, he said. Wanted to make sure she got a good settlement. Said she needed to make you look bad at a public event so the divorce would favor her. I stopped the recording. The silence was heavy, the kind of silence where nobody even clears their throat. My wife's mouth opened, but nothing came out at first. Then she found her line. "You recorded him," she said. "That's illegal." I kept my voice even. "One-party consent state," I said. "Completely legal. Unlike adultery, which actually affects divorce settlements here." Her dad turned and walked out, just left. Her mom stood there frozen, tears stopped mid-cry. Her work friends, the ones who were just comforting her, backed away like she was radioactive. She looked at me with pure rage. "You set me up," she hissed. "No," I said. "You set me up, I just came prepared. There's a difference." I looked around the room. "Sorry, everyone," I said. "I didn't want it to go down like this. But she was right about one thing. The lying is over." Then I walked to the door, paused, and said the last piece. "Oh, and I filed for divorce this morning. You'll be served Monday. You might want to find somewhere else to stay." And I left my own party. I drove straight to my brother's place. My phone blew up all night, mostly support. A few angry messages from her and her mom. I blocked them. A month passed and the fallout got intense. The day after the party, my brother helped me change every lock on the house. She showed up that afternoon, pounding on the door, screaming. I used the Ring camera and didn't open it. "Your stuff will be ready to pick up this weekend," I told her through the speaker. "You can't kick me out of my own house," she screamed. "It's not your house," I said. "It's mine. I inherited it before we were married. Your name was never on the deed. Check with a lawyer." She screamed for half an hour. Neighbors definitely heard. I documented all of it. She got served at work and apparently made a huge scene. The guy was there too. Awkward doesn't even cover it. Her lawyer called my lawyer and came out swinging about the house, spousal support, and marital rights. My lawyer shut it down fast. "Did your client mention the 8-month affair?" he asked. "The recorded confession and the 40 witnesses." Long silence. "Then we'll be in touch." Her mom called from a different number. "How could you humiliate her like that?" she said. "She tried to humiliate me first," I said. "She just had bad intel." "She made a mistake," her mom said. "She had an 8-month affair and planned to publicly destroy me to get a better settlement," I said. "That's not a mistake. That's a con." I hung up and blocked that number too. Then it got weird. One day I came home from work and found her inside the house. She'd broken in through a bathroom window and was sitting on the couch like nothing happened. "We need to talk," she said. "You need to leave," I said. "You're trespassing." "This is my home," she said. "No," I said. "It's my house. You broke in. That's a crime. Leave or I'm calling the cops." She tried tears. "Please," she said. "I ended it with him. We can fix this." "No," she stared like she couldn't process that word. "What do you mean, no? Don't you love me?" "I loved who I thought you were," I said. "That person doesn't exist." Her face hardened. "You're not getting away with this," she said. "That recording is illegal." "Already confirmed it's not," I said. "Try again." Then she went for threats. "Fine," she said. "I'm taking everything, half the house. Half your retirement. Spousal support for life. You'll be paying me forever." "The house is inherited property," I said. "Your affair affects alimony. Good luck." She stormed out and slammed the door hard enough that a picture fell off the wall. I called a locksmith immediately, upgraded everything, added window locks, new security system. Cost me about $900 total, worth every penny. A day later, I got an email from HR at her company. She'd filed a complaint saying I was harassing her by having her served at work. I got on a call with HR, explained the situation, and mentioned the affair with her coworker. They asked for proof, so I sent them the recording. HR went quiet. "We weren't aware of that relationship," they said. "That violates our workplace conduct policy." A few days later, they both got fired. Strict no fraternization policy, especially because they reported into the same division. She texted me from another number. "You got me fired, I'm suing you." I answered HR's questions, I replied. "You violated policy, not my problem." She was crashing with her sister, the sister who barely talked to her after hearing the full story. I couldn't imagine that living situation was peaceful. Then came the part that still makes people shake their heads. The car she drove was titled in my name. She had bad credit when we got together, so I bought it. I'd been making the $380 payment for 5 years. The title never left my name. I asked my lawyer, "Can I sell it?" He asked, "Is it titled to you?" "Yes." "Then it's your car," he said. "Do what you want." So I drove it to a dealership and sold it for $8,400. Not amazing, but it was paid off. She texted, "Where is my car?" I replied, "My car." "I sold it. Title is in my name." She left a screaming voicemail that could have cracked glass. I sent it to my lawyer as evidence of harassment. Her lawyer sent a nasty email about the car. My lawyer sent back the title paperwork and a short message that basically said the same thing. It was his property. Last I heard, she was borrowing her sister's car. That relationship was probably hanging by a thread. As the divorce moved forward, it went faster than expected for one reason. She kept running out of money for lawyers. She was on her third attorney. The first quit after she screamed at him in his office. The second dropped her after she refused to accept reality about the house. The third one was basically trying to get her to take a settlement and stop setting herself on fire. The house was confirmed as mine, separate property, locked in. The retirement split favored me because of the affair. I kept about 65% of the marital portion. She demanded $3,000 a month in spousal support. My lawyer offered $500 a month for 18 months. We ended up circling a range around $800 to $900 for a couple of years. It wasn't fun, but it was temporary. She tried to claim I forced her to quit her job, which was almost funny because she got fired for the affair. The judge didn't buy it. Her lawyer tried to argue the car sale was financial abuse. My lawyer showed the title and the payment history and made it clear I made every payment. The judge literally rolled his eyes. "It was his car," he said. "He can sell his own property. Next issue." Then her lawyer tried something desperate. She claimed the party recording was meant to humiliate her, like it was some kind of revenge material. Even her lawyer looked embarrassed saying it. The judge shut it down. "It was a recording of an affair partner admitting to an affair," he said, "at a party where she was actively trying to frame her husband as a cheater. That's evidence." Denied. Outside court, she tried remorse. "I'm sorry," she said. "We had 7 good years. Doesn't that mean anything?" "You had 8 months of lying," I said. "We're done. Can't we at least be friends?" "No. You're really going to throw away everything we built." "You already did," I said. "I'm just cleaning up the mess." Her mom was there too, still giving me death stares. I stopped caring. Here's the quiet truth. Once you stop trying to win their approval, their anger loses a lot of power. My life started getting better. I got a promotion at work, about $15,000 more a year. It happened after the filing, so it didn't factor into the settlement. I paid off my own car with money I saved from not funding 2 people. That $380 payment I used to make for her went straight into investments. I started playing basketball again. Something I quit because she said it was immature for a married man. I joined a rec league. I was having a blast. The house finally felt like mine. I painted the bedroom, got new furniture, bought the gaming setup I'd wanted for years. Turns out spending money on things that make you happy isn't wasteful when you're not being shamed for existing. I dated a bit, nothing serious, just coffee, a few conversations, remembering what it feels like when someone is actually interested in you instead of evaluating you. My brother and I got closer. We grabbed dinner weekly. Sometimes we talked about everything. Sometimes we didn't. My mom still called to check in, just making sure you're okay. "I'm good, Mom," I tell her. And for once, I meant it. Through mutual friends, I heard my ex was a mess, still job hunting, living with her sister in a 1-bedroom apartment, fighting constantly. The guy stopped talking to her after they both got fired. Turns out the affair wasn't that romantic once consequences showed up. She started telling people I trapped her in an abusive marriage and ruined her career. But 40 people were at that party. They knew the truth. Everyone else could believe whatever made them comfortable. Finally, the divorce ended. Signed. Sealed, finalized, final terms. The house stayed mine. I kept 65% of the marital portion of retirement. Spousal support was $850 a month for 24 months. Her debt was her problem. My debt was my problem. She signed last week. It was over. She sent one final text. Hope you're happy. You destroyed my life. I stared at it for a minute, thinking about ignoring it. Then I decided she deserved one last clean sentence. I didn't destroy anything, I wrote. I just refused to be your victim. Then I blocked her number. Blocked her everywhere. Done. From what I heard later, she was still unemployed, still fighting with her sister, family barely talking to her. The guy wanted nothing to do with her. She posted vague things online about narcissists and emotional abuse, and the comments were mostly from people who weren't at the party. The people who were there didn't comment. They didn't have to. They already saw the receipts. As for me, my life was honestly better than it had been in years. That spousal support stung, but it had an end date. 2 years. I could handle that. The house was redecorated. New couch, new bedroom set, new everything. I got rid of what reminded me of her, not out of spite, just clarity. I also started therapy, not because I missed her, but because I didn't want to carry the damage into the next chapter. I started seeing someone casually, and she knew the whole story. She said the party move was the coldest thing she'd ever heard. She meant it as a compliment. My brother put it best. She tried to play chess, he said. You flipped the board, pretty much. People ask me if I feel guilty that it got so public. No, she chose that venue. She invited those people. She planned that confrontation. I just changed the ending. Would I have preferred a private conversation where she was honest? Of course, but that was never what she wanted. She was running a con. I just stopped playing. Sometimes I miss the idea of being married, having a partner to share life with, but I don't miss her. I miss what I thought we had, and that's the hardest part. Realizing a big piece of your life was built on something unstable, but I'm not bitter. Just wiser. Next relationship, I'll be smarter, more aware, less willing to ignore patterns just to keep the peace. Because peace built on denial isn't peace. It's just a slow leak you pretend you can't hear. Here are the lessons I'd take from this. Lesson 1: if someone calls you insecure every time you ask a fair question, pay attention. That's not reassurance. That's control. Lesson 2: cheating is bad. Cheating while building a public setup to frame you is worse. Protect yourself with proof, not hope. Lesson 3: contempt is not a phase, it's a warning sign. When someone looks down on you, the relationship is already in trouble. Lesson 4: calm beats chaos. If you keep your head, you keep your options. Lesson 5: self-respect sometimes costs money up front, but it saves you years on the back end. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in his place, would you have played the recording at the party or kept it private and handled it in court? And what's the earliest moment you think you would have walked away?